Welcome to the Rugby League Outsiders prediction video. This is the only prediction video on the internet that counts, in our opinion. My name's Craig.
And my name's Karl. We had an unexpected loss at Hull, an absolute classic played out at Trinity, and this week, Warrington's season could well be on the line.
Right, welcome back to the prediction video then. Some great results, especially for all those Trin fans out there. Amazing game, but not quite the result I wanted, but you loved it. Karl, let's do our rapid-fire recap, kicking off with that Wakefield versus Leeds game.
Trinity 15, Rhinos 14, a game that went down to the wire. Mason Lino dropped goal and the crowd went absolutely wild. Crazy scenes at Bellevue, and what a great game to open the round.
Into the Friday night, and Wigan took on Catalans.
Wigan 28, Catalan 18. A game that was a little bit average, I think you've got to say. Neither team producing the best rugby that they're capable of. Wigan got the job done in the end, the stronger of the two sides.
And then the final game then, as mentioned already in the run-up to this show, Hull FC plays Huddersfield Giants.
The shock of the weekend then, Giants 30, Hull FC 14. And Hull FC just can't string two wins together at home. What's going on there? We all expected them to kick on from last week, and it just didn't happen. Huddersfield turned up, cheeky George Flanagan, and just wound players up and really got the better of them.
Yeah, and the stats, looking at that game a little bit more in depth, the stats were very, very similar for both teams. Like, you know, quite where the difference was, I don't know. However, Hull FC were booed off by some of the black and white Old Faithful there.
Yeah, it's a crazy one, isn't it? Such a good performance against Wigan, and then they got their win at home the week or two before, and I really expected Hull FC to start kicking on from this point, and it just didn't happen. Huddersfield turned up they played some red hot rugby, in fact, and they scored some really good tries. Some you could say that it was just a little bit too easy for them, and the Hull FC defence they just broke the line too many times. Yeah,
I think probably did boil down to like errors, and then Huddersfield capitalising on those errors, and it was good to see them in full flight. Really, the Jake Bibby try, George Flanagan ran amok, didn't he? And a lot was made of that in the press.
Yeah, well, I think he's getting to that point now. He's been playing Super League long enough it's like when you get a new job and you get your feet firmly under the table. I think he's gaining in confidence. He's settled with the style of rugby that he's played at Huddersfield, and actually that side of him that's coming out, it's a little bit like his dad, is coming out in him, and he was winding people up left, right and centre, wasn't he?
Yeah, we see a lot of young players go through this, don't we, that have got talent like this kid has. Harry Newman, I remember he had like a little bit of a petulant side to him, you know what I mean? Jack Wellesby, he went through that stage as well. Jake Connor's never really grown out of it.
No, he hasn't.
Although he got a finger to the eye this weekend for his troubles. But right, can we?
Which game did you enjoy the most?
Do you know the Wakefield Leeds game was phenomenal?
Yeah, it was
phenomenal, and albeit Brodie Croft missed his kick, and that was sickening. And I knew Wakefield was going to do it, and you were badgering me on the thing, and it's that kind of thing that makes a game interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fair play to Wakefield.
How did you get on in your predictions last week anyway? What, did you get one right, didn't you?
33%. 33%.
You got one right.
Yeah, 1 out of 3. It was not terrible, is it? It's not terrible. But I mean, who would have predicted Giants beating Hull? the way they did.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? And in fact, I saw a post on social media. Did you see it? Where some guy, he had his betting slip on the screen, and he was like,
No,
if he put £1,000 on Huddersfield to win, with the odds, he would have got 126 grand back. I remember looking at him going, "Look, imagine that." Within an hour or so, Giants had gone on and romped to like a, doubled the points of Hull.
Yeah.
So
mad, wasn't it?
I want to know whether that guy put that bet on or not. And he might be keeping it quiet in case his wife, one, didn't know he'd put a bag of sand on Giants to win, but also he's now walking around with 126 grand in his pocket.
Or he didn't put it on, and now he's just absolutely gutted.
Yeah, now he regrets it. So that was really good. What about you, Cal?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Thursday night game between Wakefield and Leeds. I thought we really built it up in last week's show, hoping that we was going to get this absolute classic played out, and it was literally from 5 minutes into the game, you knew what we were getting, didn't you? It was like, this is going to be one of those games that just goes backwards and forwards and goes to the wire. The crowd were pumped up. It just had the makings of a classic, and that's exactly what it produced. And I could feel it. I was like, it's going to go down the last couple of minutes, this is. And yeah, Lino's drop goal, it was just an absolute corker, wasn't it?
I've got a new hobby now. My new hobby, right, on a Monday morning. You showed me this page on the Super League website,
yes,
where you can
stats.
look at the stats, the live stats. You can go to the game, filter it by Super League, and you look at the results and then the live stats. And I love just looking at like the comparison between the two teams. And what I'm finding is like these Super League clubs, whether they're top or bottom, more often than not, their stats are almost identical. It's so close. Things like completion rate. We used to talk a lot about completion rate, in years gone by. Now it's just so close. Number of tackles, meters made, you know what I mean? And I just love looking at those stats. It's a little bit what like John Wells used to do, didn't he?
Like an anorak, is that what you're saying? You're an anorak.
Yeah, a bit anarakish. But anyway, if you haven't done that, get on there, have a look. It's a great resource. So go and check it out. Let's have a look at this week then, Karl. Three games. I don't know what to take. I don't know what to think about this week. I'm hoping there's going to be a huge upset, because if there isn't, there's potential for this to be a bit of a pretty sort of vanilla week of rugby. Albeit the second part of round 20.
I suppose that's what you get when you split the fixtures in half. And I mean, you usually probably get 3 decent games and then 3 games that you can usually predict fairly easily. And the 3 games we always get wrong and the 3 games we always get right. The 3 games we've got this week, because they've split the round into over 2 weeks, I think is looking fairly obvious. There's one game.
There's a chance.
There's a team needs to turn up and perform. And mind you, neither of us predicted Huddersfield were going to beat Hull. So maybe there is a shock result coming this week.
Right, first game then, Thursday night, the last day of July. Can you believe it? We've got 12th place Salford taking on first place Hull KR. Salford sitting with 4 points there in the bottom of the table. Hull KR 32 points sitting at the top. Kicks off at 8 o'clock, Sky Sports action. Salford, as we know, one win from the last 6, where they beat Castleford a couple of weeks ago, and Hull KR 4 from the last 6. So a couple of little blots on their record sheet there, but more than likely going to take the win this week.
Yeah, but that was, I mean, yeah, they lost to Leeds, didn't they? 8 points to 14. They lost to the Leopards, 28 points to 10, and the press got on top of it, and it was all, is Hull KR's crisis started now? We had that crazy couple of weeks of Super League where the top teams were losing, but then last week they got right back on it, or should I say the week before, when they played Catalan, they had a pretty convincing win. Mikey Lewis was back in the side. He just run the show again. They've had a couple of weeks off. I'm just expecting a red-hot Robins this week.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the only danger is that Hull KR take their eye off the ball, and they're too classy an outfit in order to do that. I'm pretty sure, I suppose I've got one way to look at this is, will Salford get any points on the board? Thoughts on that?
I think they will. I mean, they haven't been scoring a lot though, have they? No, I mean...
Well, let me put it another way. So there's always a chance to get a penalty and they get a couple of points on the board. Do you think they'll score a try this week? Bearing in mind some of their key players are out.
Yeah, I think they'll score. I don't think they'll score many. I think I think this is a fairly easy prediction, and it's one of the easiest ones we'll probably make all season. I'm going for a Hull KR win. I think they'll win by at least 20 points. I think Salford will score. That's all I can. I think they might score. 1 or 2 tries tops.
Well, I will look at this, and I think Willie Peters will just want to keep them at 0. I think if they allow them to score, then they may see this as a bit of a disappointing game.
I suppose it's Hull KR want to get back to consistency, don't they? So they did lose 2 games in a row. They were back winning against Catalan. They'll just be wanting to get backing it up again, get themselves back on the horse, and start getting ready for the playoffs, I suppose, with Hull KR.
Well, and having had a week off as well. Well, almost 2 weeks by the time this game kind of comes around. So. That's that. What's your take on it? Don't forget to stick your predictions in the comments down below. We love reading those. And I love reading comments about Carl's crap haircut. Right, moving on then. Friday, the 1st of August. I keep mentioning it because I just can't believe it's come round so quick.
I know.
August already. We've got 3rd place, Leigh, taking on 8th place, Warrington. So Leigh currently sitting there with 27 points in the table. 18 points for Warrington. Kicks off at 8 o'clock on Sky Plus. Leigh currently 5 from the last 6. Warrington 3 from the last 6. You're right. This is an important game, probably the closest pairing of the round. However, Leigh head and shoulders above Warrington in the minute.
Red hot Leigh. This couldn't come at a worse time for Warrington. Warrington desperately need to get their season back on track. Many people are saying it's already over. I think it kind of already is over. I think that they've got to win this week of Warrington to stand any chance of making that 6. I genuinely think their season is on the line this week.
Well, it's the feline versus the canine, isn't it? You've got the feline leopards taking on the canine in the wolves, and I think this week that the cat is going to take the cream because. I can't see Warrington beating Leigh.
Yeah, I mean, look at Leigh's last 3 fixtures: 18 points, 8-8 win against Wigan, 28 points to 10 against the Robins, and 16 points to 4 against St Helens. Who could have predicted that a month ago? I don't think anybody could. They're just doing everything right at the minute at Leigh. And interesting, you were talking about stats earlier on. I looked at the stats from the Leigh and St Helens game. They both had a similar error count.
Yeah.
They both had a similar completion rate, but Leigh do more with the ball. They seem to just have more attacking threat than any other team at the minute, maybe Hull KR. It's what they do with the ball, which is just so dangerous, and they've become quite an unpredictable team, and a team that can actually score from many different areas of the field, and that can be up the middle, it could be out wide. I think they're just playing really well.
Yeah, I trace it all the way back to comments made by Sam Tompkins as when he was, working on Sky, whichever it was, and he said that Lachlan Lamb can just pop up anywhere, either side of the pitch. You know what I mean? Which makes him like such a threat. Add that then to Tessinu that we always mention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A Pape who just like splits people in half and folds them. When he in defence.
O'Brien's playing well again, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's had a real resurgence in his career, and we talked about this like bit of an exodus of Leigh players the back end of last season.
Yeah,
but so many have kind of stepped up, and so many new players have come in, and are just kicking on, and they've got their eye on silverware. 100% see themselves as contenders.
I think Leigh are definite contenders. I can see them winning a grand final this year.
And
I don't think the favourites. I definitely don't think the favourites, but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
So just a question here, who do you think they're most likely to come up against if they got to the final? And who would you like to see them take on?
Who do you think they're most likely to come up against?
Yeah. I know it's a bit of a weird way to look at it, but...
I think you've got to say Hull KR.
Oh, yeah.
I think you've got to say Hull KR.
Yeah, agreed on that. And who do you think who would you like them to play? Wigan, Battle of the Borough for the final.
Well, that'd be great. I mean, it'd be a great talking point. But if I'm going back to my earlier point, or it might be on the other show, I'd like to see a different name on the trophy. So if we have a Leigh Hulk AR final, that'd be just incredible, wouldn't it? Just knowing that we're guaranteed a different name on that trophy this year. However, don't discredit Wigan.
No, never.
And I think Leeds as well will be right in the mix.
Well, and Saints, I've been accused of like slating Saints every week, and maybe I have. But looking at their record now, you know, they're 5 from the last 6. They're going about the business, and they're hanging in there. So, you know, it's just a race for the playoffs, and then knuckle down and see what happens, isn't it? So
yeah, we're going off the boil anyway. Right, we'll talk a little bit about Warrington. Warrington last game lost to Castleford. Fans booed the team off the pitch, wasn't happy. If you look at the stats from last week's game, it doesn't make good reading. They made 12 errors, 33 missed tackles. Yeah. What do you put 33 missed tackles down to?
Do you know, this is the question we've been asking all season, isn't it? That we genuinely don't know. That their defence last season became rock solid, one of the best, if not the best in the league. You know, when on Sam Burgess' arrival, he turned them into a great defensive side, and it slipped this year. And it slipped. It seems to slip bad.
If you ask some Wire fans, it started in Vegas.
Yeah.
And the defence hasn't been great all season, really, has it?
No. I mean, some fans outside of Wire would suggest that their whole, you know, there's lots of factors that fell apart from Vegas onwards. I don't know if I buy into that. I don't quite know why it's not clicking. I don't know enough about the camp. I know George Williams is definitely staying now. That's got to be good, you know, for the club. And I think the way I talked before about how they've gone about that business has been very classy, you know, without kind of, you know, getting into like some kind of war or lots of speculation. You know, they've been very open and honest about the potential for it happening, and it hasn't happened. And the way they've dealt with it, I think it's stood them in good stead, because George Williams, you know, they need to keep him if they're going to perform next year. You know, I don't think they're going to do much this year, as we know, sitting in 8th. But they need to keep players like that if they're going to be contenders next year. So, you know, that's good news. Paul Vaughan going. I think Paul Vaughan's got seasons left in his legs, like at the highest level. I don't understand why he's going to York, other than perhaps he's, you know, taking his.
Well, York could well be in Super League next year.
Yeah,
that could be
but that's a gamble, isn't it?
It is a gamble, but they have got a lot going for them at the minute.
Yeah,
you know, it's a club on the up, fantastic stadium. You know, it's got a lot of stuff right. Whether they are in Super League or not is another question. But
do you think it's a salary cap type thing? Is it?
What, Warrington? No,
letting Paul Vaughan go.
No. Well, I think there'll be a bit of a clear out at Warrington this year, and I think that's probably a lot of Warrington's problems is they start with the clear out every year, and try and build a championship side every 12 months rather than gradually building. And I thought they were going to build on last year's success. Yeah. Well, certainly had a better season last year, didn't they? And I thought they were going to go up a notch, but then we spoke about this before. They didn't sign the players this year. They just don't know if they didn't have the money available to them this year, and the players that did bring in didn't really perform. Anyway, got to make our predictions. It's a pretty easy one for me. I'm going for a Leigh win.
Yeah, I'm going for a Leigh win as well. Same again. Like, I think Leigh are going to be wanting to keep in them like 0 points. I don't know if they will. There's still class in Warrington. They can still shake any team. But I think Leigh will just be too strong, too fast, too skillful, and they'll take the win. Right, moving on to the final game then of the round, also on Friday night, 8 o'clock on Sky Plus. We've got Saints sitting in 5th place, 24 points, taking on Castleford, currently sitting in 10th place with 10 points. That's easy to remember. Saints 5 from the last 6, and Castleford having lost 2 from the last 6. Same again, polarised game here.
Yeah, you would expect Saints to be the stronger of the two sides all day long on this one. And just going back to Saints, when I said that we looked at the sort of stats from the Leigh and Saints game, and the stats were very close to each other. It was just that Leigh did more with the ball. And I'm just wondering, I've had a look at the team sheets for Saints for the last month or so. There's a lot of change going on at St Helens in their starting sort of 13. I don't know if it's changes are being forced by injuries, or Paul Wellens is still tinkering with the side. He still isn't quite sure what his strongest side is. I mean, with George Whitby had an absolute cracking start to his career, didn't he, at St Helens? But he found himself on the bench last week. Tristan Saylor was back at fullback. Tristan Saylor's played at fullback. He's played on the wing. He's played in the halves. There's just so much change going. I know some of this is forced due to injuries, definitely. But there's so much change going on in Saints that maybe that's one of the reasons that they didn't break down, Leigh, last week. The side isn't settled.
It'd be a real insight, wouldn't it, to go through the selection process of a Super League coach.
Yeah.
You know, like you look at so you've got Paul Wellens, you got Leigh Breers there. Neither mugs within the game. You know what I mean? So they're obviously they're making sound decisions, you would think. You know, so what are the factors that are coming into play for those selections and the move around of that playing force? That'd be really interesting.
How many have they won out of the last 6?
They've won 5 out of the last 6. This is what I'm saying.
So
they're
went
going about the business, albeit they've played some of the lower league sides.
Yeah.
You know, but they've had some big competition there as well. So
yeah, they've had some big scalps, haven't they? I mean, it's a hard one. He's St Helens, but he's looking at playing against Castleford. I would expect a strong performance from Saints against Cass.
Yeah. Is there a chance Cass could take the win though? What would they have to do in order for that to happen?
Is he at Saints?
Yeah.
No, they won't win. I'm going to say the only chance I could see is Castleford having against St Helens. If it were at Castleford, they had a big storm. It was a boggy pitch, and they could slow some of their players down. Cass are going through a bit of a change out there, minute. They're sort of trying a few different plays. What I would say about Castleford, they only made 5 errors in their last game. So they've started to smarten up. Westerman, I thought, played well. He had a real captain's knock in the last game. So, you know, if they front up, there's an outside chance, but I fully expect the Saints win.
Rumblings of they've whittled down their head coach selection to 5 potentials. The person that stood out for me was Ian Watson there. Do you think that would be a good recruitment move?
Ian Watson at Castleford.
I mean, he did amazing stuff, didn't he, at like Salford, and finished. Yeah,
I think
poorly at Huddersfield.
To be honest with you, when I look at Cass, I don't put it down to the coach, because I don't think the last 2 appointments of coaches have been bad appointments. I think it's been down to who's been in charge of the recruitment. So I think Ian Watson is a good choice, providing that he's got some say in the recruitment as well. If the recruitment's done for him and he's just brought in to coach the side, I don't think that always works. I don't think that'd work in Ian Watson's favour. But he's not a bad shout for Cass, is he?
I mean, the potential is he could go on and do. I mean, I'm just sort of thinking from Ian Watson's point of view, you know, like, because it could go disastrously wrong, couldn't it? You know,
yeah.
If he goes in there and there's no change, then that could be terrible. Well, you know, to go from Huddersfield Giants, leaving Giants the way he did, then taking on Castleford, and if that doesn't go right, like where does it leave his coaching career? You'd like to think he'd do a good job.
Yeah. It's a risky job for any head coach that's going into Cass at the minute, because you're going into a side that's going to be, well, they've already said, aren't they, they're having a massive clear out of players. They've already told players that are on contract that they're not needed next year. The players that are off contract, they've notified them that they're going. So I suppose you can understand why Castleford are playing like they are at the minute. Having said that, some players stepped up in that last game, so maybe they're playing for the contracts. Possibly. It isn't a head coaching role I'd see too many people wanting to jump in at, especially where you don't know what squad you're going to be walking into. They've had a pretty disastrous couple of seasons. I mean, it was a free hit for Danny Maguire, wasn't it?
Yeah.
First coaching role, but like when you say Ian Watson going in there, that is a risk for him.
Yeah, I think it almost suits someone who's currently an assistant coach. A couple of the ones that are down under that have been shortlisted for the 5 that was reported by one of the online magazines.
Yeah.
It'd be a good move for them because, like you said, it's almost a free hit. First
head coaching role. Yeah,
you know. Whereas Ian Watson, it's not his first rodeo, and I just think that could be a little bit of a danger for him there. Right, so we're both saying a Saints win.
Yeah, Saints win for me. I think they will win by 16 or more.
Oh wow, you're going that far. Right,
Yeah.
I think the Saints will win by 10. I think Cass has had a week off and they would have smarted their side up a little bit, albeit Saints have had a good bit of time off as well. But yeah, that's what I'm going for.
So out of the 3 games, we've got nothing unexpected this week.
Well,
You might get more than 33% win ratio this week.
well maybe. Right, so Karl, any final afterburners?
Yeah, have you finished that Bedford video yet?
Hell, you know, I'll just edit this out. So your smart aleck comments won't even be in the episode. You know that.
Yeah.
Right, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching. As always, stick your predictions down below, and yeah, we'll take it from there.